Hey, so this news just broke about Bessent, and I think this is actually a big deal. Markets seem to be excited about this as well. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told a closed-door investor summit Tuesday that the tariff standoff with China is unsustainable and that he expects the situation to de-escalate. So this is very good news, first of all, because as we've been talking about almost daily on the channel, and I feel like some people get mad about because they're like, Kevin, you're being so doomy about this. Well, yeah, because so far there's been no sign of negotiations and our economy is going to hit a wall this summer. We're going to see empty store shelves and a supply chain shock that was worse than what we saw during COVID. And that's not being hyperbolic. That's just what happens when you shut down economic trade with, our third largest trading partner. It's not good. So this is good because it's an acknowledgement by Bessent that, hey, we are in a situation that is not sustainable. We can't let this keep going on. Christine Lagarde just this morning, she suggested, hey, we expect negotiations to take 75 to 90 days and, hopefully some form of a deal is negotiated by that period of time, but we need a deal that we could stick to so that way things don't change the very week after we strike a deal. Basically saying, hey, we can't really make deals off flip-flopping. We need some consistency here, which is a bit of a slam on Trump. But then again, this could be deemed the art of the negotiation. That said, Bessent added that negotiations haven't started, but a deal is possible. So this is kind of like good news, bad news, right? Because on one hand, it's sort of like, all right, Bessent realizes we can't keep this crap going. This is terrible. We need to end this. And then what happens? We get this sort of follow-up with, but we haven't really started negotiating yet. Fine. At least it shows that Bessent is inside the Trump administration realizing the gravity of the situation, which in itself is bullish because it finally means maybe somebody's waking up to the fact that, hey, we could be creating a man-made self-induced recession here. Now, some recessionary conditions already existed, obviously, before the Trump administration, but Donald Trump has certainly added fuel to the fire. And when we look at the 2-10 spread, I think this is also very important to consider. The 2-10 spread, it's still sitting at 59 right now, so it's down, but it's been down this morning. And so, we're coming back up. Yesterday, obviously, was a little bit of a poopy-doopy day, which, interestingly, yesterday, for the Alpha report, it's worth you seeing it. Take a look on screen here. Yesterday on the Alpha report, I wrote IMO green candle to 438.90, but then rejecting down to 435 or worse 431. That was in the Alpha report yesterday, and it's remarkable because I send the Alpha report every day before the market opens, and we literally green candled to that 438.90 line. As we lost 435, went down to 431. It was just remarkable on the forecast. And today, we were not bearish like we were yesterday. And the reason I say these things in the Alpha reports, just so you could kind of think about it as well, is this morning, we went into the day, we're like, okay, we had our Powell bashing over the weekend, and we had our negative trade news with Japan over the weekend. We didn't actually have any more negative news yesterday other than, again, Powell bashing. But that's old news at this point. Japan leaving without a trade deal was bad news. Today, this is good news. We're not actually hearing more negativity on tariffs. We're finally getting some positivity, which is good and hopefully breaks this sort of downtrend that now the NASDAQ is on. We had this beautiful, beautiful Nike swoosh recovery in the NASDAQ. And you could see this since 2022 just by looking on screen here. Beautiful Nike swoosh. We kind of cleaned up the line a little bit to show it more clearly, mostly because I had these lines extended a little bit further, just to finish showing the Nike swoosh happened the way we thought it would in 2022 when everybody thought we were crazy here. Now, yeah, did we think it was going to get this euphoric? No. I mean, we certainly way overextended by the election. But we want to break this downtrend now because this downtrend that we're on right now is not an ideal downtrend. So we need more sustained bounces. And it's good right now that we're bouncing before hitting a lower low. But anyway, back to the news. So number one, Closed Door Investor Summit Tuesday. This is how all the insiders get all the insider information. And it's probably why stocks are rallying and started rallying before we, the normies, got to hear about the news. In fairness, one of the things I was pitching this morning to course members was CoreWeave. Like, it's gonna get bid up to $40, and it's up 8% right now. Because every time it falls under 40, it gets bid back up towards 40. It opened at like 35 this morning. It's been up basically all day long. Anyway, you know this. You could join the Meet Kevin membership and get this sort of daily alpha every single day in the course member live stream where we react to this data and information before the market opens and as the market opens. This morning, by the way, we also reviewed the Philly Fed and Richmond Fed data. I mean, honestly, it shouldn't be a surprise at this point. I don't want to like belabor that the numbers are bad, but the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, the services side, this is not a surprise. Continued to decline this month. It came in worse than expected. Sales revenues expected to be negative. And this is important to pay attention to. Two things here. One, firms continue to report overall declines in full-time employment. Bad. That's bad. We don't want the jobs hit. And then this is why I always say companies take it in the margin. They don't have pricing power. The prices paid index rose again, while prices received fell to essentially zero. In other words, they're paying more for their costs. Costs are going up, but they're receiving less. And you saw a very similar kind of negative outlook on the regional Richmond Fed read, with activity slowing further in April, local business conditions dropping, business conditions falling notably, new orders falling considerably, blah, blah, blah. Prices paid increased notably, while prices received increased only somewhat, which is, again, that divergence between companies basically taking it in the margin. So anyway, back to this Bessent thing. The Treasury Department didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The Treasury chief spoke on the sidelines of the IMF and World Bank spring meetings as finance ministers and central bankers gathered to assess the fallout of Trump's trade war. Bessent also said the world's top two countries essentially have a trade embargo in place, slapping tariffs of more than 125 on each side. That's right. That's exactly why I'm talking about how we're basically shutting down trade. Like, Bessent is correct when he says we basically have a trade embargo in place. We're basically saying we're not trading with you, China. That the fact that we have 80 blank shipments, that could be somewhere between 640 to 800,000 containers that are not coming to America. They're going to lead to substantial inventory problems on shelves this summer and joblessness. So we really need to create a trade deal before we get into June, July, because the stock market can actually look through some of that near-term pain as long as there is a solution in sight. In my opinion, every single day that a solution is not had, we probably just kind of continue to trickle down on stock indices, right? And we continue to see this frustrating sell America trade. But I'll tell you this, I would not bet against America. I would bet that in the long run future, we might go through a recession between now and then, but in the long run future, betting on America will be the best thing that we could do.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.